Hello students, I'm Sai Baba here. So in the previous class, I have discussed about the term angular momentum for rigid body in pure rotational motion. Now in this class, I am going to discuss the term torque or moment of force. So at first you concentrate only to listen to me. I will show you the notes later. That means I will show you the summary of the discussions later. So those who are writing the notes, they can write the notes later. Now you just concentrate only to listen. So at first I discuss the basic definition of the term moment of the force. So the torque or moment of the force is a measure of the turning effect produced by the force. The torque or moment of the force is a measure of the turning effect produced by the force. Now let R bar be the position vector of a particle situated at a point P with respect to an origin O of a fixed coordinate system or fixed frame of reference. Let an external force F bar act on the particle situated at the point P. Let an external force F bar act on the particle situated at the point P. Then the moment of the force, or F, we can say P, the point of application of the force F bar. Then moment of the force F bar with respect to the origin O, defined as the cross product of the vectors R bar and F bar. So the moment of the force F bar with respect to the origin O, defined as a vector product of R bar and F bar. So it is denoted by this letter, which we read it as tau. So moment of the force F bar with respect to the origin we defined as the cross product of R bar and F bar by this vector expression. So the direction of this vector tau bar or torque is perpendicular to the plane containing the vectors R bar and F bar. And the direction of tau bar can be found by applying the right hand thumb rule of the cross product of two vectors. So going by the definition of the cross product of two vectors, magnitude of the torque or moment of the force F bar is given by magnitude of the cross product of R bar and F bar, which you can write mod of R bar into mod of F bar into sine theta. Or you can write tau equal to RF sine theta. The theta is the angle between the two vectors R bar and F bar. As I discussed in the past in vectors, to know the angle theta between two vectors by the graphical method, the two vectors must be drawn graphically from same point such that tail of one vector attach tail of other vector. So it can be expressed in different ways. The direction of the force F bar is extended both sides. This is, we call it as a line of action of the force F bar. That means the direction of the force F bar in the vector diagram is extended. This we call line of action of the force F bar. You can drop a perpendicular from the line of action of the force from the origin O on the line of action of the force F bar. You can drop a perpendicular from the origin O on the line of action of the force F bar. Let n be the foot of the perpendicular dropped from the origin O on the line of action of the force F bar. That means ONP is the right angle triangle. So the angle OPN will be equal to theta. So vertical opposite angles are equal. These two angles are equal. So the length of the line ON, gives you the perpendicular distance between the origin O and the line of action of the force F bar. It is denoted by this letter R, subscript perpendicular symbol. So in this triangle, ONP sin theta is equal to length of the side opposite theta divided by length of the hypotenuse side, that is ON by OP. The length of the line ON is represent the perpendicular distance between the direction of the force F bar and the origin O, denoted by R subscript perpendicular. Here OP bar represents the position vector R bar of the point P at which the force is applied, or for position vector of the point of application of the force. The length of the line OP gives you magnitude of R bar, or you can write R. So sin theta you can write R perpendicular by R. So R perpendicular you can write R sin theta. So magnitude of the torque or moment of the force can also be written as F into R sin theta. Or you can write it as F into R perpendicular. So R perpendicular represents the perpendicular distance between the line of action of the force and the origin O. So magnitude of the torque or moment of the force with respect to fixed origin O can be written as product of the magnitude of the force and the perpendicular distance between the line of action of the force and the origin O. So the turning effect produced by a force in general, in practice, it is a common observation that the turning effect produced by force on a body which is capable of rotation about a fixed axis will depend on magnitude of the force applied and also depends on the perpendicular distance between the line of action of the force and the origin O. You can also express the magnitude of the torque in another way. If you can resolve this force F bar into rectangular components in the direction parallel to R bar and perpendicular to R bar. That means you can construct a rectangle with adjacent sides of the rectangle parallel to and perpendicular to R bar, so that the force F bar acts along the diagonal of the rectangle. That means you can resolve F bar into rectangular components in the directions parallel to and perpendicular to R bar. So the component of the force F bar parallel to R bar we denoted by F subscript parallel, which is equal to F cos theta. The component of the force which acts perpendicular to R bar denoted by F subscript perpendicular. This F perpendicular represents the component of the force which acts perpendicular to R bar, which is equal to F sin theta. So magnitude of the torque can be written as R into F sin theta. So magnitude of the torque can also be written as R into F perpendicular. So we may use any one of these forms in calculation of the magnitude of the torque depending on the situation in the problem, depending upon the information given in the problem. That is magnitude of the torque or moment of the force F bar with respect to origin O. Basically, it is written as RF sin theta. The theta is the angle between R bar and F bar. Or you can write magnitude of the torque or moment of the force is equal to product of the magnitude of the force and the perpendicular distance between the line of action of the force and the origin O. Or magnitude of the torque can also be written as R into F perpendicular, where F perpendicular represent the component of the force F bar which acts perpendicular to the position vector R bar. So unit of torque is naturally product of unit of force and unit of distance. Unit of force is Newton, so unit of R is meter, so unit of torque can be written as Newton meter. Of course, 1 Newton into 1 meter, as we discussed in work for energy, can be written as equal to 1 joule. So torque can also be, unit of torque can also be written as 1 joule, but most of the numerical problems we discuss in rotational motion, torque is usually expressed in Newton meter to make a distinction from work, term work. Next, I'm going to discuss some special cases we come across in the calculation of the torque, particularly those cases where torque is zero or the torque is maximum. So next I am going to discuss some special cases in the calculation of the torque. You just concentrate to listen. I will show you the notes later. So as I discussed before, the magnitude of the torque or moment of the force, you can write RF sin theta. The theta is the angle between R bar and F bar. Or you can also write it as torque equal to F into R perpendicular. Or magnitude of the torque R into F perpendicular. As explained, you can write in any one of three ways. So if theta is 0 degrees or theta is 180 degrees. So in both these cases, you can say that the value of sin theta is 0 and magnitude of the torque will be 0. So in what situation theta will be 0 degrees? Suppose if you consider a body which is capable of rotation about an axis passing through the point O and perpendicular to the plane of figure. Suppose if the line of action of the force F bar passes through the point O, which lies on the axis of rotation. That means, in general, there is one result which you need to remember, which is may not be mentioned in the regular board intermediate textbook or board textbook, but it is given in the standard books, one conclusion. That is, if you consider a rigid body which is capable of performing pure rotational motion about a fixed axis, then moment of the force F bar about that axis. The moment of the force, if a force F bar is applied on the body at any point of the body, then the moment of the force F bar about the axis will be the same with respect to any point on the axis as origin. That means whatever may be the choice of origin, the torque or moment of a particular force acting on a rigid body about a fixed axis is same. So if the line of action of the force F bar passes through the point O, about which moment of the force is calculated. That is, the moment of the force, the line of action of the force F bar passes through the origin O. Or in practice, the line of action of the force F bar intersects with a point O on the axis. Then the angle theta between R bar and F bar may be 0 degrees or 180 degrees. So theta will be 0 degrees. Then R bar and F bar act in the same direction. Theta will be 180 degrees. This is what we are showing. This is a rigid body on which the force F bar is applied. Which is capable of rotation about the axis passing through. Here R bar acts to the right side in the figure, F bar to the left side. So that means the R bar and F bar act in opposite direction. Here angle theta is 180 degrees. So in both these cases, you can say that, or you can observe that the line of action of the force F bar passes through the point O, which lies on the axis of rotation, about which moment of the force is calculated. So in both the cases, moment of the force is 0 or torque is 0, which means that no turning effect is produced by the force in such cases, or no angular acceleration can be produced by the torque in such cases. So coming to the second case, suppose if the force F bar acts on a rigid body at some point O, at the point O, that is at the origin O, which lies on the axis of rotation. This is a rigid body here. The force F bar acts at the point O, that is at the origin of the coordinate system, which lies on the axis of rotation. That means R is 0. If R is 0, then also magnitude of the torque or moment of the force will be 0. That means if the force F bar acts at the point O, about which moment of the force is calculated. That means in general, if a force acts at the point O or at the origin of the coordinate system about which the moment of the force is calculated, then magnitude of the torque or moment of the force will be 0. That means if one of the external forces acting on a rigid body, suppose acts at a point which lies on the axis of rotation, then moment of the force about that axis will be 0. So one more conclusion. Of course, for given magnitude of the force and for given value of R, suppose if the force F bar is applied at a point, let us consider a rigid body in the form of, for example, thin uniform rod, which is capable of rotation about the axis passing through the point O and perpendicular plane of the diagram. Suppose the rod is capable of rotation in the horizontal plane about the vertical axis passing through O. Then for given values of R and F, the magnitude of the torque is maximum and sin theta is maximum. So sin theta will be maximum, as you know, when theta is 90 degrees. So for given direction of for given magnitude of the force and for given value of R, the magnitude of the torque is maximum when F bar acts perpendicular to R bar. So if theta is 90 degrees, then magnitude of the torque or moment of the force will be equal to RF sin 90 degrees, or simply you can write R into F. If sin 90 degrees is equal to 1. So one more result which is not usually mentioned in the regular board intermediate test books or 11th class books is that, let us consider, for example, a rigid body, for example, in the form of a thin uniform rod resting on a horizontal plane, which is capable of rotation about the vertical axis passing through the point O. Suppose if the force acts in a direction parallel to the axis of rotation, or in general, if you consider rigid body, not necessarily with thin uniform rod, any rigid body. As an example, I told you the rod rigid body to be considered in the form of a rod. But the same conclusions which we are discussing at present are applicable for any shape of the rigid body, which is capable of few rotational motion about a fixed axis. So if one of the forces acting on the body parallel to the axis, then the moment of the force F bar or magnitude of the torque or along the axis will be 0. So that can be understood like this. Suppose if R bar and F bar act in the plane of the diagram, then the torque acts perpendicular plane of the diagram. Suppose if F bar is parallel to the axis of rotation, that means one of the force F bar acts on the body in the direction parallel to the axis of rotation. This situation is different from previous case. In the previous case, case 3, I mean the body is capable of rotation about the axis perpendicular to the plane of the diagram. That is perpendicular plane containing R bar and F bar. Here suppose if the force, one of the forces acting on the body is parallel to the axis of rotation, then the moment of the force F bar, which is defined by the equation R bar cross F bar from definition, acts perpendicular to the plane containing R bar and F bar. That means if the two vectors R bar and F bar and the axis of rotation lie in the same plane, then the torque tau bar in this case, torque acts perpendicular to the plane containing R bar and F bar. That means if the axis is in the plane containing R bar and F bar, then the torque acts perpendicular to axis for this special case. The torque acts perpendicular to the axis passing through the point O. Then you can say that component of the torque tau bar acting on the body along axis is 0. or you can say moment of the force or component of the torque along the axis of rotation, or the torque acting on the rigid body or moment of the force F bar along the axis will be 0. That means the torque, the force cannot produce any rotational motion, or the torque cannot produce any rotational motion about that particular axis. So the conclusion is that if any one of the external forces on the rigid body, which is capable of rotation about a fixed axis, acts parallel to the axis, then moment of that force along the axis will be 0. So if you want more discussion about this case 4 or all these special cases, those who could find time and are interested, they can read the book, famous book, of course, most of you may be familiar, Concepts of Physics by H.C. Verma, Volume 1. So here, next I am going to discuss the basic equation of motion for rigid body in pure rotational motion. That is, you can call it as Newton's second law for rigid body in pure rotational motion. Let us consider a rigid body performing pure rotational motion about a fixed axis. It may be under action of several external forces, or you can say several external torques may act on the rigid body. So I am going to discuss the most important equation of rotational dynamics for rigid body in pure rotational motion, that we can sometimes in some books it is also called in this way, Newton's second law for rigid body in pure rotational motion. Earlier I have discussed Newton's laws of motion, mostly all the examples for rigid body in pure translatory motion. As I discussed earlier, Newton's laws of motion, when several external forces act on the rigid body such that the mass of the body does not change with time, and the vector sum or resultant of all the external forces acting on the rigid body can be written as product of the mass of the rigid body and the linear acceleration of the center of mass of the body. A similar equation can be obtained for rigid body in pure rotational motion. The role of the quantity in rotational motion, which is analogous to the mass, that means the quantity in rotational motion which plays the same role as mass in translatory motion is moment of inertia. The quantity in rotational motion corresponding to the acceleration A in translatory motion is angular acceleration. The quantity in rotational motion corresponding to the force is torque or moment of the force. So the role of the torque in rotational motion is analogous to the role of force in translatory motion. So I am going to arrive at the similar conclusion for rigid body in pure rotational motion. So let us consider rigid body performing pure rotational motion about a fixed axis or system of particles which perform pure rotational motion about a fixed axis with a common angular acceleration alpha. Let F bar represent resultant of all the external forces acting on one of the particles of the rigid body. Or we can draw a separate figure but just showing one of the particles of the rigid body. As I discussed in the past, when the rigid body performs pure rotational motion about a fixed axis, then every particle of the rigid body moves in a circle, and centers of all the circles lie on a fixed straight line. which is called the axis of rotation. So let us consider rigid body which performs pure rotational motion about a fixed axis passing through some point O and perpendicular to plane of the diagram. Let us consider one of the particles of the rigid body which is performing pure rotational motion. As I discussed in the past, when rigid body performs pure rotational motion, every particle of the rigid body moves in a circle and the centers of all these circles lie on the axis of rotation. So let us consider one of the particles of the rigid body which moves in a circular path of radius r. So the resultant external force on the particle, as I discussed earlier in general circular motion, the resultant external force acting on a particle in general circular motion can resolve into two rectangular components. Resultant of all the forces acting on a particle in general circular motion can resolve into rectangular components along the radius of the circular path and perpendicular to the radius of the circular path. The component of the resultant force which acts along the radius of circular path and towards center of circular path we call radial component of the resultant force or centripetal force. So here capital F subscript R represents the component of the resultant force which acts along the radius of circular path and towards center of circular path, which we call radial component of the resultant force or centripetal force. The component of the resultant force which acts tangent to along the tangent to circular path we call tangential component of the resultant force, which is denoted by Ft. So this tangential component acts perpendicular to the radial distance of the particle from the axis of rotation, that is perpendicular radius of circular path in which the particle moves. The centripetal force, the radial component of the resultant force, act towards center of circular path. Let O denote the center of circular path in which one of the particles of the rigid body moves. That means we have shown the diagram on the right side just for one of the particles of the rigid body. So each particle of the rigid body moves in a circular path and centers of all these circles lie on the straight line called the axis of rotation. So the centripetal force on any particle, the line of action of centripetal force on a particle passes through the center of the circular path which lies on the axis of rotation. Therefore, moment of this centripetal force will be 0. Therefore, magnitude of the resultant torque acting on the particle the magnitude of the resultant torque acting on a point mass or particle of mass m situated at radial distance r from the axis can be calculated by considering the component of the force which acts perpendicular to the radial distance r of the particle from the axis. We write r into f perpendicular. That you can write r into ft. Ft is the tangential component of the resultant force, which you can write mass of the particle into tangential acceleration. The tangential acceleration you can write as I discussed in general circulation, product of the mass of the particle and tangential acceleration. This tangential acceleration for a particle moving in the circular path in general circular motion we have written as r into alpha, where alpha is the angular acceleration and r is the radius of circular path. So the torque acting on a point mass m situated perpendicular radial distance r from the axis can be written as mr square alpha. As I discussed in the beginning class in pure rotational motion, that when rigid body performs pure rotational motion about a fixed axis at any particular instant, the angular acceleration alpha will be the same for different particles of the rigid body. The angular quantities omega and alpha are same for all the particles of the rigid body. So the resultant torque acting on the rigid body, which is performing pure rotational motion about a fixed axis, can be written as equal to sum of the torque acting on all the particles of the rigid body. So magnitude of the resultant torque is equal to sum of the magnitudes of the torque acting on all the particles of the rigid body. Because for the rigid body in pure rotational motion at any particular instant, angular acceleration alpha is same for all the particles, and angular acceleration of each particle will be directed along the axis of rotation in the same direction at a particular instant. So at any particular instant, angular acceleration alpha will be same for all the particles of the rigid body in pure rotational motion. So magnitude of the resultant torque can be taken as sum of the magnitudes of the torque acting on all the particles of the rigid body. So magnitude of the torque acting on a particle of mass m1 situated at radial distance r1 from the axis at a particular instant using this result can be written as m1 r1 square alpha. Using the same equation, the magnitude of the torque acting on a second particle of mass m2 situated distance r2 from the axis given by m2 r2 square alpha. Magnitude of the torque acting on the particle, third particle of mass m3 situated radial distance r3 from the axis of rotation can be written m3 r3 square alpha, and so on. Magnitude of the torque acting on the nth particle of mass mn situated radial distance rn from the axis can write mn rn square alpha. Can take alpha common outside here. So m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r3 square, etc. up to mn rn square into alpha. Or you can write sigma mr square into alpha. The sigma mr square gives you the moment of inertia. Or you can write tau equal to I alpha, which is similar to the equation F equal to ma in pure translator motion. So then the net external torque acting on the rigid body performing pure rotation motion about a fixed axis can be written as product of its moment of inertia and angular acceleration alpha about that axis. So now I would like to summarize the entire discussion I have done so far in this class. I want to show you the notes or PowerPoint presentation of all the conclusions or summary of the discussion which I have done in this present class about the term torque or moment of the force. Those who are writing the note, they can get ready with notebook and pen. So come on, look at the screen here. I am now going to show you the notes for what I have discussed in today's class, and those who are writing the notes, and they can take a pause wherever necessary and write the notes. But I am going to read out all the conclusions or summary of the discussion I have done in today's class. Again, I start from beginning of this term torque or moment of force. You can torque, this you need not write, that I already discussed in earlier class. So torque or moment of force, I will read out here. Let an external force F bar act on a particle situated at point P with position vector r bar. Can draw a diagram in case you are writing the notes separately, showing the position vector r bar and force F bar, and O is the origin of the coordinate system. P is the point where the force is applied. Again, I read out, let an external force F bar act on a particle situated at point P with position vector R bar with respect to origin O as a laboratory frame of reference. The moment of the force F bar or the external torque on the particle with respect to origin O is given by tau bar equal R bar cross F bar. So those who are writing the notes, if they want more time, they can take a pause and copy this. I would like to show the continuation to this. Its magnitude is given by mod of tau bar equal to mod of R bar cross R bar F bar, that you can write mod of R bar into mod of F bar into sin theta. So those who want to write the notes, those who are writing the note, they can take a pause and write the notes. In case you're writing the notes, you copy the diagram also on the right side. Next, I would like to show you the continuation of this. In case you need more time to copy the notes, you can take a pause and take your own time. Or you can write tau equal F into R perpendicular, or tau equal to R into F perpendicular, where theta is the angle between R bar and F bar. As explained here, R already explained you in the earlier class. R perpendicular represents R perpendicular distance between the origin O and the line of action of the force F bar. Can also write the magnitude of the torque also as R into F perpendicular. F perpendicular is the component of the force which acts perpendicular to the position vector R bar. That means we can resolve the force F bar as explained into rectangular components in the directions parallel to and perpendicular to R bar. The component of the force parallel to R bar is denoted by F subscript parallel. The component of the force which acts perpendicular to R bar is denoted by F subscript perpendicular, which is equal to F sin theta, where theta is the angle between R bar and F bar. So those who are writing the notes, they can take a pause and finish writing the notes. I'd like to show you the continuation to this. So next, I would like to show the special cases which I have discussed. Case 1, if theta equal to 0 degrees or 180 degrees, then sin theta is 0 or perpendicular 0. And you can write here tau equal to 0. So if the line, I will read out the conclusion. If the line of action of a force passes through a point O, which lies on the axis of rotation, then moment of the force will be 0. Case 2, if R is 0, then tau is 0. So as I told you, theta will be 0 when R bar and F bar act in the same direction. Theta will be 180 degrees. Then R bar and F bar act in opposite directions. In both these cases, moment of the force is 0 or torque is 0. If R is 0, then torque is 0. If a force acts at a point which lies on the axis of rotation, about which moment is calculated, then the moment of the force will be 0. So all these conclusions I have already explained and discussed. So if you are writing the notes, you can take a pause and finish writing the notes. Next, I want to show the continuation to this. So case 3, if theta is 90 degrees, then tau equal to R into F sin 90 degrees or RF. That is, theta will be 90 degrees when F bar acts perpendicular to R bar. And then I would like to tell the relation between torque and alpha, so which I have derived previously. I am going to read out the conclusion. Then several external torques act on a rigid body. Then the vector sum of all the external torques acting on the rigid body about a fixed axis will be equal to product of its moment of inertia and angular acceleration about that axis. Or tau external, you can write I alpha. So those who are writing the notes, they can take a pause and finish writing the notes up to here. I want to show the continuation to this. So in vector form, we can write net external torque is equal to I into alpha bar, which we call Newton's second law for rigid body in pure rotational motion. Just as we write for rigid body in pure translatory motion, the resultant of all the external forces acting on the rigid body in pure translatory motion can be written as product of its mass and linear acceleration of the body. Similarly, the resultant of all the external torques acting on the rigid body in pure rotational motion can be written as product of its moment of inertia and angular acceleration. So for a rigid body in pure translatory motion, we can say the direction of the acceleration A bar of the body is same as the direction of the resultant of all the external forces which act on the body. The same way for rigid body in pure rotational motion about a fixed axis, the direction of alpha bar is same as the direction of the torque, which is directed along the axis of rotation. So the direction of the net external torque tau bar on the rigid body is same as the direction of its angular acceleration alpha bar. In the case of pure rotational motion about a rigid fixed axis, there are two possibilities. Then there is angular acceleration. In some cases, the angular speed of the rigid body about the fixed axis may be increasing with time. Whereas in some cases, the angular speed of the rigid body about the fixed axis may be decreasing with time. So in the case of pure rotational motion about the fixed axis, direction of alpha bar will be opposite to omega bar if the angular speed is decreasing with time. The direction of alpha bar is same as the direction of omega bar if the angular speed is increasing with time. This is somewhat similar to what we discussed in pure translatory motion. I will continue my discussion in my next class. So if you are writing the notes and if you need more time to copy the notes, you can take a pause and finish writing the notes.